All right, this is Chris Jarvis and Kat Faubert with the Quistery Project, and we are here with the indomitable Eddie Enos.
When did you start? When you moved back, so this is like late 70s, early 80s, did you start then performing again in bars, or?
Yeah, when I was, yes.
After your probation, I think.
Right. Yeah. After that, then I came out strong, and I was doing shows for anybody and everybody. And then that's when the Ladies of the Night came out, because the court went, Virgil wanted me to do their anniversary show, and the court wasn't asked, so the court got upset. And I thought, well, you know what, that's cool, but I'll get a group.
So
and
Ladies of the Night was a group that you started?
That was formed to do Virgil's anniversary
Owner of
show.
the Red Lantern.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when we did his show, I had people that wanted to do that show that had never done shows.
This was at the Red Lantern?
At the Red Lantern.
So like early mid 80s, you started Ladies of the Night.
Yes.
Early 80s.
Right. Ladies of the Night began the anniversary show of the Red Lantern, Virgil's Red Lantern. Mm-hmm. And then it went good, and then the court was like this with me.
They weren't so keen with you.
No, because
hot and cold.
Right, because it was like I was supposed to be using my title, and I didn't do the show as Princess One. So when they got mad at me, Jesse said that I was going to lose my title, and then I told her, I said, I don't need it because Miss E is Miss Empress. So I've always been Empress. I don't need a title. When I got the name Miss E, that meant Empress for short. Well, when I told her that, she went crazy. Anyway, that's a whole... I love Jessie, but, we go like this.
Yeah.
Clash.
Only because she knows that I can get a group. If I ask a bar to do a show, they'll let me. They know the crowd that I can pull. To where Jessie, she has to do it through the court.
And Virgil didn't want the court performing?
No.
Or he just didn't ask them?
No, he didn't want the court performing because their shows, when the shows that I was doing, like Miss E would do, they were all upbeat numbers, and the entertainers were current. They didn't do a 5-minute Judy Garland or a 10-minute. Well, see, they loved Liza Minnelli, but they didn't. The main was they didn't want a Judy Garland or a Barbra Streisand that went on and on and on.
Because in the beginning, drag was much more ballady, right?
Yes.
It was much more slow songs, big gowns, bigger.
And gowns.
And then eventually it morphed into, we want some upbeat numbers, some disco numbers. Some
right.
Stuff
Well, see, I did Tina Turner and Ricky did Diana Ross.
Yeah.
So they weren't cabaret numbers.
Right, cabaret, exactly.
So they loved us. So we sort of got out to where wherever we were performing, they wanted us. And then it was Jerry Dayton, Michael Seal, Christy Love. All of a sudden, the Fun Girls came out. That's what Virgil liked, is that when we did our shows, it was strictly the audience, and then the audience, half the time they were throwing money at us. They didn't want to break us up or stop us from a performance. It got really competitive. I hate using that word because I don't ever want to compete against... I don't want my entertainers to compete against a court or any of them, because Michael Seal became Empress. Jerry Dayton was an Empress. Christy Love was an Empress. We had a lot of people that became Empresses. One became Empress, and Lupe Cordova was one's Emperor.
Okay.
I didn't want that competition. And then Jeff Ho got Mary Kay Girls.
Mary Kay Girls. Yeah.
And then Sherry Ware went and introduced them one night as Mary fucking Kay Girls.
Right.
And that stuck to them, to where Jeff got real pissed off at me, thinking it was me. This is what Jeff and I have, this thing against each other. Yet when I was working at Vogue, we needed, Arden came and wanted to have us all go in commission. We said no, so it was Gloria, myself, 4 other stylists. So then Jeff went and said, I'll open a salon. So he opened Jeffrey's, and it was Olive and Venice and Olive.
Yeah.
I stayed there. He opened it, and I stayed there 12 years. I had it running when Jeff sold it to Christine. Christine went and said she opened hers in Clovis, which I didn't go because I told her that's too far for me to drive. So the owner of the building said, Eddie, do you want to take it over? And I did.
So you're doing the Ladies of the Night in the 80s. Did that continue through the 90s, Ladies of the Night, or were you doing other stuff?
Well, I did other shows. I did court shows. I did court shows because Jerry and Kim, they all liked me. Jesse liked me, but I was his friend as long as he could use me or get something from me. So then I started doing the bitches' wigs. And I thought, okay, I like you. Yes, you're a summer girl. And that's still like this. I told her, I said, because what I didn't like about Jessie is that when she started getting ready, the minute she put on a wig, call her Judy or Barbara. You don't call her Jessie.
She was like this in high school, too.
Oh, she was like that all through her life.
Because you went to high school with her.
No.
Oh, I thought you... Oh, but you met her in high school. That's
no.
right.
I was in high school. She was already... Jesse's 10 years older than me.
Oh, okay. So she was already doing...
She was, yeah. And I met her at Monty's as Miss Gay Fresno.
Oh, okay.
So that's when I was introduced to a queen, and I did not know what a queen was, other than a high school football queen or college, that kind of queen.
Yeah.
And then when I saw the transformation of Ricky put Monty in drag, and Jesse said, okay, this is my wig, I'm going to let you use it and all that.
So, Ladies of the Night in the 80s, you were doing other shows for the court. When, through the 80s, you're doing shows, very popular. What about in the 90s? What was were you still performing? Or?
From 81 to 91, I had costume parties.
What were those?
Those were, I was doing hair shows, and I was working at Bertie McTweet's, and it was they would have strippers on Tuesdays and Thursdays. But they weren't really strippers. They were strippers, but it was more or less burlesque.
Okay.
And it was a soft burlesque.
So female strippers.
Right.
Okay.
So then they got so popular that all the men started going there. So then they thought, okay, let's do something for the women. When the strippers came out, we started introducing men. So we had some good-looking strippers, and what I love is that they all started out to be straight. And four of the male strippers that we had are gay. Clem was married to Cindy, but everybody knew he was gay. He did it for the family because they were 8th grade lovers all the way. So they got married right out of high school. Yeah. When I was doing hair, I was doing the strippers, and then Halloween was around the corner. Steve Anderson, they said, Eddie, why don't you get your friends to come and have a party here? I said, okay. He goes, I'm going to charge you $500. I said, oh, no. You said some of my friends come and party here. I can get some people dressed up for Halloween to come and make your bar look busy. And he goes, I'll give you the bar. He goes, if you can get 50 people here in costume. I said, oh, okay. I thought, okay, because he was always teasing me, saying, when he heard that I did drag, goes, yeah, I could see, an ugly girl. I thought, okay. I said, one of these days, sucker. So then when Halloween came around, I invited everybody I could. I made flyers. I put them on every car I knew, male, straight, up and down, sideways. I called my people from San Francisco, called some people from Los Angeles. I had 6 people at my house getting ready. It opened at 6 and it was over at 1. I got so nervous. Can I afford this? Because if I don't get 50 people there, I'm going to have to pay $500 for this bar. I don't know if I could. Then I was stressing out, so I got in drag, a Donna Summer drag, and didn't get there till 8:30. And when we drove up, I had 7 people in my car. and I had that little red car, and we were all in costume. Nobody was in an elaborate costume. I wore a two-piece leather, so everybody was comfortable. It was Ed Enos' first annual costume party.
Okay.
And it wasn't a Halloween party, it was a costume party. Because when I talked to my clients about a Halloween party, I got an ugly letter written to me that how dare I celebrate the devil's an evil, that's when the dead walk the earth.
Wow.
I'm celebrating. Well, I thought, okay, I don't know where she's getting this from. Anyway, I thought, okay, so I told myself, it's a costume party.
Right.
And it's the first Saturday. It was the Saturday before Halloween because Halloween was a Tuesday. And I said, I can't get nobody on a weekday, but I told him, I said, if I can have Saturday, it'll be great. Anyway, I got there at 8:30 and there was a line.
Wow.
I was so nervous. And then my sister, I love it because my sister Dolly and her boyfriend, I said, can you collect at the door? Because he told me I could have the door. And I thought, okay, the door will help pay for the first, second, third place and the bar. Anyway, it was $5 to get in. And my sister went and told this one guy, Brian Thomas from Supply House, B&O, went and told Brian, I'm going to have to charge you $10. And Brian says, why? And he goes, we are not in costume. And he goes, so then Dolly says, go to a drug fair. The masks are $1. He went, and I love Brian. He went and he bought 50 of them, gave them, I think, $25 or whatever, sold them for $2 a piece at that party.
At the line, because people weren't dressed up.
Yes, the ones that didn't dress up, that saw the line that wanted to stop because they knew of Bertie McTweet's. He made a killing, and I thought, you got to be kidding. And I was so happy. Anyway, I walked in, and I was walking up, and I said, excuse me. I said, is this the line to get in? And Dolly says, come on. She goes, they've been waiting for you. I said, Dolly, all these people are with me. She says, okay. Well, there was 7 of us, and as we walked in, part of the line went in. Anyway, I didn't think any of it. We got up there. Steve looked at me. I looked at Steve, and I said, I'm here. He didn't recognize me. I thought, okay, thank you. I said, Steve, I'm Eddie. I'm here. And he goes, oh, and I had little Al, the DJ, Al Ballas. He DJ'd for me.
Okay.
So I went and I told Al, I said, I'm here. He goes, thank God. He goes, we have to announce the costume party. And I took all of these stickers and I had my sister number them. So we put the stickers on. I said, okay, for contestants, but I had no categories. So then I asked Steve, I said, you and Bruce get categories. The most beautiful, the most original, or the most beautiful, most handsome, and then the ugliest one. 4 categories. So anybody spooky went into category ugly. Any male, we had 2 Tarzans, and we had about 4 Tarzans, and about 2 or 3 guys just in Speedos that were like, and with masks, and I thought, the mask, same color as the Speedos, and I thought, how incredible. When it started, Bruce came up to me and he goes, okay, Steve says, Eddie, Bruce is freaking out. And I said, why? And he goes, we're out of booze. Well, they had booze downstairs. So they were going up and downstairs. And then he said, okay, Dad said, the only place, I said, you guys, that's not my doing. That's, you do it. You're doing it. So anyway, at the end of the night, I gave out the $100, $175, $50, and $25. And I thought, oh God, what did I make at the door? Did I at least cover it? And then Bruce came up to me and he goes, Eddie, this was 10 o'clock. He said, if you can do this every weekend, I'll give you the bar. I said, Bruce, it's not a costume. You can't have a costume party every weekend. I said, these people, they're drinking so much because a person in costume is less inhibited.
Right.
Once you have a mask, nobody knows you.
Yeah.
When you're in a costume, they don't know if you're a garbage man, a secretary, a vice president, we had people hook up that never hooked up again after they saw or knew.
But the mask was off.
And that was a rude awakening to me, because two of my girls met these handsome men that could not be bothered with them after. And these are pretty girls, but Charisse has a huge butt. She had hip. I mean, you could put a tray on it. Well, she went as the one that got her neck cut off, Marie Antoinette.
Oh, whoa.
So she had the bust. I mean, and it wasn't her dress. I mean, that wasn't the thing. That was her. I told myself I would never have another costume party again.
So did you start doing parties every weekend?
No, but Bruce went, he said, Eddie, he goes, we have never sold, even New Year's, even our grand opening, we have never made any amount of money in liquor at the bar than we have. And I said, get a bunch of queens, get a bunch of people in costume, they drink. You know what I mean? It's like, then DUIs they weren't heavy. They'd get a slap on the wrist or something. Anyway, he was so happy. And then just as he was telling me all this, we heard this big crash. The party was, it was 1:30 and everybody was already leaving. But we had this big crash, and I thought it was a window. Two people were making out, two lesbians were making out in the girls' bathroom, or two girls were making out in the girls' bathroom, and a husband walked in and pushed the girl's head through the mirror.
Oh,
Not through it, but hit her against it, and it cracked. Well, that was $400 and some, and Bruce said, okay, you're taking that. I said, no. You just got through telling me you had made all this money. I said, you know what? No. And then Steve says, Eddie, how would you like to have a party here next year? And we'll let you have the door. And I said, well, the door is mine anyway. I'd like a percentage of the bar. And Bruce says, no. He goes, you already cost us enough. And I thought, I'd made him all this money and this $400 mirror. He wanted to take that of my money at the door. I had enough money. I made over $1,200 at the door, which shocked the shit out of me, because I thought I couldn't believe that I'd made enough. I had enough money to play with. So then I thought, okay, this will pay for my porta potties, my DJ, because I gave Al $100, and I thought that was expensive. And he says, Eddie, he goes, I'll play for free. Well, then I thought, okay. So then the prize money went up to, since I made more money, I thought, okay, now I can have $100 for this, $100 for that, every title could have $100. Well, then the second one, we had it at the Hilton Sky Room. And that one, my nephew came as the guy with the mask.
Zorro?
No, the killer with the knife and the mask.
Oh, Freddy, yeah.
Or the Friday the 13th?
Yeah.
Yeah, the white mask.
Yeah.
And
Halloween.
Michael
Michael Myers.
in the garage.
Yeah.
Anyway, he rode up and down the elevator. We started getting phone calls. Eddie got this freak. Nobody's getting on the elevator. I looked at him, and it took me 5 minutes to get him. I said, I'm the one that hosted the party. I need you to come in or get out, because nobody's coming to the party. Then he did. I got so damn nervous, because it looked like he had a real knife, and it was that plastic, that rubber thing. Mm-hmm. So I went. He goes, Eddie, I'm your nephew. Oh, I got so mad. I said, he goes, don't touch the mask. I said, all right. I said, come in, because your mother needs this, because that's Dolly's son, oldest son. I said, your mother needs to see this. So here he walked in, and everybody hit the wall, and that movie is enough to scare the shit out of you. And if you're in an elevator and you see him, it's like, I'll wait till you get out.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was the beginning of my parties. And every year I got all the paperwork, the contract, so all I had to do is show that to the next one. So I had it at the Star Palace, the Mermaid Room, the Vegas Mermaid Room, the Star Palace, the Hilton Sky Room, Bertie McTweet's one more time, the Edison Social Hall,
And how many years did you do this?
10 years.
Wow.
91, I had Halloween. I had Joe Carroll was my entertainment. But that year, I went and I had it with the court. I said, okay, the court, I'll work with you. And they said, okay, cool. So we got the Patterson building downtown with a checkered floor.
Right.
And 2 weeks before that, Cassie was Empress. Cassie and I were eating at Quacks, eating in the Metro. And they came in and they said, you're Ed Enos? And I said, yes. Why? And they goes, they just bought the Patterson building, and we can't have your costume party there. The lawyers from LA won't. I turned Snow White. I freaked out. So then Cassie looked at me and she goes, let the court do it. I said, where can we get someplace in two weeks? We finally got the community links 2 days before my party, and it was filled with junk. So we had those 2 days, Michael Seal. We had every gay person on the court came and either took a load of stuff if they could and dumped it or got rid of it, or anyway, we had when we walked in, we had a ramp that went a ramp to walk in, then you had a ramp to walk in between these curtains, and then you could go down the steps either side. Then I had from Gottschalk's the giant statues of David, all of Michelangelo's statues, from Michael Seal. I had freaked out and I thought, okay, I'm not going to trip. Well, the guy that had rented us the Patterson building went and donated a color TV, and him and his son were at the Patterson building giving directions to the community links. It was like everything fell into place. And Joe Carroll gotten signed up for RC Records or JC, any record company. And then she wasn't going to perform, and I said, you have to perform. She goes, well, I can't because now I'm under contract. Well, I had this was Saturday before Halloween. Her contract was affected Halloween. So then they said, okay, she could perform. Well, the song she had, He's All Right. She had 3 songs that came out good. Anyway, everybody went crazy. They loved it and all this, and I thought, perfect. Well, that was 1991, and John, on their way home, John was going to move back to Fresno. He died he was murdered December 2nd. So that's when I told myself, I don't need him anymore. I don't need to have, that was what ended my costume parties. I thought I had 10 good years, and he was always with me. It's like when you have a partner, that's like I always tell everybody, if you're an emperor, if you're an empress, if you have a title, if you have a partner, that's half of the worry. They take half of that. No matter whatever is heavy on you, the obligation, you have somebody to come home and, help you. Anyway, after that, I thought I didn't want to. And the drug that he got murdered for, that he was selling, he went and he helped his brother. He wanted to dump $1,000 worth of meth. I didn't know that I had no clue that he was doing this. When John died, I helped his mom get everything together, had him flown down or drove down to Fresno, had him buried, and did everything, helped her and his family with everything. And then that January, I started doing crystal meth. Had no clue for 3 years that was a drug that he got killed for. Not until December, Christmas Eve, did Sharon Lacey tell me that that's a drug that he got murdered. He got killed with. Cold turkey, I quit. I stopped everything, and I thought, that's when I stopped all my drugs. I thought, I don't need to do this anymore. This is ridiculous. 94.
94.
I thought, I don't need to do this anymore. I went cold turkey, and then when I did that, not 86, but all of my group somebody was doing coke. Our after hours parties, Sharon Lacey, Robin, and Sharon Lacey, Vicky, and I were the only ones standing in the party when the rest of the parties were in the bedroom snorting coke or snorting whatever they were doing. Because we had quit doing drugs, and it was like, I didn't mind. So when I went in with Sharon, I said, don't prosecute us. Don't condemn us or don't alienate us. We are still your friends. Mike said, and then Michael called me up later and said, Eddie, they're paranoid. That's part of what a drug does.
Right.
And if there's three of you not doing it, there's all but somebody has to say that maybe they're snitchers or maybe they're in with the cops or whatever. I said, you know what? I don't need to be there. I don't need this. So what I did, half the people that were in the court were in the bedroom. So I just distanced myself from the court, and I told them, I don't need this anymore.
Good for you. I mean, drugs were so prevalent in the gay community for decades because part of it was mass. You couldn't be who you were, so it gave you
coping.
Yeah, it's coping. It copes with depression. It copes with not being closeted, all that stuff. That's why drugs were so prominent in the gay community.
You know, and then to dance, you danced all night. That they had the big dance halls, and they had the big undergrounds where they would have. I'd gone to a couple of those, the underground parties that were so you could smell the marijuana, but you could see,
around the
and you could see the poppers, and then all of a sudden the band was there in that corner, and then all of a sudden you saw this corner get real dark, and it was got the darker it got. It was like, okay, people walking into the darkness, coming out with no clothes, or coming out with. I thought, wait a minute. I walked in there. The first time somebody grabbed me, I turned out my shirt ripped, and my pants pocket, my back pants pocket was ripped off. I thought, okay, these suckers are freaks. I was still doing my drugs then, but I couldn't believe it. It was like, I thought, you walk in there, you don't know how you're going to come out.
Yeah.
And then it was like right after that, AIDS started.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, thank God, thank God, thank God. Because these were a lot of my friends, a lot of people that I knew that were going in there. I went in a couple of times, but I'm a dancer. I'm a lover. I want one-on-one. 2 or 3, it's like, okay, wait a minute. It's like
too much of the party.
I can't concentrate. And, even some of the bars, there was one bar called the Grocery Club, and what it was is that in San Francisco, what it was that you walked into it, and it was groceries, 2 aisles of groceries like this, but you walked into the last door, then you walked downstairs, and that was the first time there was movies everywhere, and we had a good buzz, and we were walking down. First time I ever saw snowballing.
Oh, yeah.
What is snowballing?
When you pass, when you're 69ing,
yeah,
and then you go and you kiss each other and you pass it.
Pass the semen.
Yeah. I never knew that was a term for that.
Me neither. Me
You
neither.
learn these things.
And when I was walking down the stairs, and as I turned real fast, and there was like where the bathroom. I turned in the bathroom, and whomp! It let everything out. I couldn't stop, and then they started getting worried because I couldn't stop throwing up. And Tony Hunt said, "You didn't eat that much. You don't have that much in your system." So Ken Gray once said, "I'm going to take you to the ER emergency." So I looked at him. I was Snow White. They went and said that I'd thrown up 3 or 4 times and everything in my system. They said, had he been drinking? He goes, "No, we just walked into the bar." So when I didn't tell them what made me sick, but it was like they had me there checking my vitals and all that, and they said, "Okay, just give him a couple of glasses of water." But I thought, Ken really thought something had happened to me. They said, "Eddie, you turned Snow White. You turned you look dead. And I thought, well, something like that scared me.
So just kind of wrap this up. So in the night, so you stopped the costume parties in '91, and then did you still perform, or did you kind of?
No, I was I did hit and miss.
Mm-hmm.
I was asked to perform,
Mm-hmm.
and then I got the reputation as that bitch ain't gonna show up. Bitch is too high. I did my drugs at home. One time at the Express, I went and I smoked a joint with JoJo and two other friends, Robbie Rodriguez. The door was locked. I couldn't get out. I could not unlock the door.
In the bathroom? You were in the bathroom?
In the bathroom.
That bathroom in the middle of the club?
Yes.
Yeah.
I couldn't get out. JoJo and I were in there. And Robbie and his friend walked out. Well, I was seeing. I mean, I was like, it was angel dust.
So bad trip.
It's an animal tranquilizer. For 30 seconds, you're unmovable. So Bob Sauer got the door open, and they carried JoJo. JoJo came too. They carried me like this, and I said, "What are you guys doing?" All of a sudden, I started talking. Scared the holy hell out of them. They said, "What were you doing in there?" I said, "Where?" I said, "I had to go pee." I said, "What do you mean?" All the way out, and he said, "Okay, you sit right here and tell me, what were you doing with the door locked?" I looked at him and I said, "Bob, I had to go pee." It was like, as fast as I got high, I came down. And when I saw him, these were brand new cowboy boots. And he was dragging me out, and all I could feel are the toes of my boots being scraped. Well, I snapped out of it. I thought, hey, wait a minute.
Priorities.
So, and this is what I tell a lot of people. When you do drugs, know what you're doing, because in your subconscious mind, that's where it usually goes. So if you've lost somebody, or been to a funeral or something bad, or seen a spooky movie, all right, that sucker's going to come back. And when you start tripping, that's where so many of these kids that drink from a punch bowl or something like that, or have never taken this pill, this is where they get lost. They don't know how to come back. They don't know where reality is. And it's sad because there's so many really nice young kids that end up overdosing or becoming street people. There was a couple of friends of mine that their cousin, one of them was a son, the other one was a cousin. They went out and they became shopping cart for about 6-7 years, and I thought, this is crazy. This is so spooky. And then I found out that people that would go to the bookstore and go to the park after the bars would pick them up.
Yeah.
I thought, wait a minute, Jeff Ho. And when he told me that, I said, "You got to be kidding." He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Remember one of your friends? He came home with me. He was with me for 3 days." I hated Jeff. I hated him for that. And then I found out it wasn't. It was common. If you're horny and you're high after 2 or 3 o'clock and the bars are closed, the bookstores, parks, any area that there's confiscated. Yeah. People go to. Even that 7-Eleven that was there on McKinley and Blackstone. Mm-hmm. My niece goes, "Oh yeah." She goes, "I'm glad he comes." She goes, "You can pick somebody up." I go, "What?" She goes, "Come." She goes, "They're all drunk." She goes, "They're sober. They sober up. They go and get coffee and they hang up and we're all talking." And this was my straight niece, but her friends were gay. 2 of her girlfriends were gay. So they would go there and meet other lesbians. I thought, you gotta be kidding. They go, "Yeah, this is where we hooked up."
After the bars closed, because so many people would go to the bookstore and then end up in the park or wherever. That was really common.
When was your last performance that you remember? And it's okay if you don't have exact dates.
Okay, and the latter part of 90s. Because 2000, I moved to Selma to take care of my mom. So I stuck everything in storage, and my storage units got invaded by rats, and so I lost a lot of drag, and I thought I got fat. I thought, there's no way. I tried to get in drag one Halloween, 2005 or 2006. Had my face on. I thought, okay, I'll work with that. Had my wig done. Could not find anything. Not even my robes fit. My robes were like this. And I thought, well, I'm not going to wear sweats. It's not that. And then I thought, okay, I found a nice little sweat, blue and green or red and green, I forget what. Mm-hmm. Put on my high heels, I stood up, it broke. I thought, wait a minute. And then I thought, okay, they're plastic heels. I've had them for 20 years. How long do heels last? So I got a pair of my wooden heels, stood up, and that broke. And I sat on my bed and I cried. Aww. I started crying so hard. Then I thought, I could wear some cowboy boots. Well, I went to go and look at my makeup. It was the worst I'd ever... I mean, everything had... I melted. Mm-hmm. And I said, I don't need to do this shit anymore. I'm old. I was 56. I thought, because I turned 50. I was supposed to be in Paris with Teresa Ledbetter on our 50th birthday, because we both are born the same day, we're both the same age. And I woke up on my 50th birthday in my bedroom, in my house that I was born, with my mom coming up to me with a birthday cake. And I looked at her and I started crying. She goes, what's wrong? And I said, you don't like that? I said, Mother, thank you so much. I'm so happy. I'm so happy to be here. I'm so happy to be with you. I said, after that, in that afternoon, I told her where I was supposed to be. And she goes, you think you're all that, huh? I love my mother. But it was like, from that day on, it was like, okay, this is the rest of my life. Mm. And I was so grateful that I was able to do what I did. But it was like when I turned 56, it was like the stamp on it. It's like, out of commission. When I turned 40, it was Fabulous Fit and 40. And they had black cake with 2 high heels over the heel. But I read, I got this Vogue magazine with Sophia Loren, and she said, I'm fabulous, fit, and I'm 40. I thought, shit, bitch, if you can do it, I can do it. So, I love turning 40. 50 was a whole other story. And, I don't mind getting older, but it was like 56 was where I realized, okay, I'm going through this change. Yeah. At 60, okay, I'm 75 pounds heavier. When I turned 65, it was 318. I thought, I'm turning it. Oh, and then I got that little belly under here. I thought, I'm that little old bald-headed, that little fat old bald-headed man that has a double bubble, the stomach underneath the belly. I hate it, and I got, please don't ever let me do that. So then I told myself, okay, lose it or lose it. So I'm losing it slowly but surely. Every time I lose 3 or 4 pounds, I'll be damned if I don't get a drink in a big gulp, my vodka and cranberry or vodka 7. Go and lay on my bed. I'm so pretty. I'm losing weight. It's like I'm my worst enemy. And then they opened a taqueria next to my house.
Too convenient.
When they opened, I went and got them a lot of business because I was going to the bank and doing things. So they would come every morning. They'd open them at 5:30. At 6:30, I would have, Eddie, we got breakfast. Neighbor, we got breakfast for you. Okay, then I sampled everything new so I could tell the people that my bank people or my dentist or whatever, so they would come because we were a block and a half from the grocery store, from where town started. So now I told them, cook. So they barbecue, and they used to have it, and it would come into my house. My house is old, so I'd be laying in bed and smell the burning wood and think it was a fire. And then 10 minutes after that, I would smell barbecue, and I thought, okay, all right. So they moved it into the back to where it goes around the feed store into town. Mm. So,
you know what I've learned, though? I just turned 62. And, I was in the bar life for many, many years, and doing all kinds of stuff. And at about 50, I got that attitude where I don't give a shit anymore, but I still kind of did. But
well, you do, but it's like
you change. You got to realize. You know what the way I always look at it is, what's the alternative? We lost so many friends to AIDS and drugs and all that stuff, and we're still here.
yeah.
And we're not 30 anymore, but that's okay. We're still here. You can't be 30 forever.
Knock on wood.
Yeah.
See, that's what I tell a lot of my friends because we've been. I went to 3 funerals last week. That's where another one where I told myself, I need to be strong because I'm going to start losing a lot more friends. Arthur Madrid just lost his toe. Last January. Lost his leg.
From diabetes?
Yeah. And finally the infection went down to where they amputated everything. And now he's home and he says, bitch, he called me and goes, bitch, I can't wait to go out. And he goes, they opened this little, he's into Asians. This little one-time.
Do you know how many times in my life I've heard that statement?
I've heard that too.
The faux 75 or... He goes, Eddie, they're so cute. I can't wait to get my prosthesis.
Yeah, prosthetic leg. So you can go
Yes,
around
so
town.
we can walk over there. And I said, I can take you. He goes, oh, no, I don't want to go. He goes, I want to be able to walk because they're cute. He goes, maybe I can pick. I said, bitch, you're near death. You're 76 years old.
But you
Yeah.
gotta admire that spirit, right?
And you gotta
Like,
just
ride it home.
remember how fabulous it was when it was fabulous. A lot of people go through their whole life and they don't ever have fabulous.
Well,
Ever.
you know what it is, too? He quit driving. I told him.
I'm talking about you.
What?
Your fabulous life. When you think about getting older or fatter or whatever.
I owe it all to her
Oh no!
I mean,
Owe
you,
it to
you gotta
yourself.
think back and
for reminiscing.
yeah, you were fabulous. You can't be fabulous forever. Nobody can.
Watch. Watch when I drop this weight.
I mean, I would pay for another performance. Like
Wow.
El Dania says that you were El Dania said that you were the best performer that she's ever seen, and then she says you were great to make out with.
I've been told that before.
And there's the end right there. Okay.